So what I love about you, man, is like, here you are in 2021, you learn about this model, you quickly learn from your mistakes from your first renter. And by the way, like, your failures, one of my pastor always says that, a setback is nothing more than a setup for a comeback. And I love that saying, man. It's like, because it's kind of like what happened in your situation. You had this setback, but really was just setting you up for like a pretty good comeback in terms of like, you learned your lesson and now you went into an asset class that's way higher cash flow. So what's cool about that though, is you didn't stop there. And this is the real reason, man, I wanted to have you on this podcast. I hope if people loved that first half of the podcast, like this next 20 minutes is going to be absolutely freaking gold. So here you are, you're like, cool, I can do this. I can force this cash flow. I can make this happen. But then it's like, what I love about your mindset, man, is you're like, but how can I do it better? And I'm telling you, like what I've done in 13 years to get to the point to where I'm now looking at building these, you've done in freaking 2 or 3. And it's impressive as hell, man.
Well, it's hard to find something that actually works. That's really what first hit my ping of, all right, what am I going to do? To it. Because that first property I got, all bedrooms up, there's not many of those. You can't find a decent property. You go out there, you look in the market at a price point that you want to capture, your 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or here we've got a lot of monster houses where people just patched onto them over time. But it's Houston. And Houston has crappy land. So you have bad foundations. And now I'm having to put in time, money, effort, concern around buying a house and having a bad foundation. A lot of the operational concerns that I've run into is what led me to look towards new build.
Wow.
In order to hit towards
so it was more operational and foundation more than it was because like people are impressed, and there's nobody on this call that cannot be impressed with the cash flow. A $1,750 house that would normally rent for $1,750 rents for $5,855. If that's not impressive to you, you should not be listening to this podcast, right? Like get off the call, stop listening right now. But you went, so I guess my question is, so you're telling me it was more the operations, or was it that you went and you looked at new builds and said, holy shit, this could be even more cash flow. And we'll get into that in a moment, but is that you're saying no, it's just because it's like new and it's got better construction? Is that what you're saying?
I can build something that meets my needs. Why does anyone build their own custom home? Why do you build? Because your wife wanted that larger closet for her shoes next to your gun safe, next to that's why you build, right? And here I'm wanting to build because I want that perfection. There's nowhere on market where I can find a duplex with 6 master bedrooms per side. I'm going masters because they drive more revenue per bedroom, right? In the space that I need, in a location that's going to work for me, right? So I'm building to meet my operational needs. Now, what have I found? What are those operational points? That might be intriguing to people. Like, what have I learned over the last couple of years that have led me down my path here?
Please.
First of all, a lot of the people that we're working with that are our tenants, they work from home. And a lot of these work from home jobs require stable internet connections. In fact, I should probably run a line myself, given the performance on this call here. So some of my places, I've got Ethernet cables tacked along the ceiling. I've gone in, I've run more Ethernet lines. So for the new build, what am I doing? I'm building Ethernet cables to every room. During the build process, we're running internet lines, just like you do in an office. It's going to go right where we planned out the office part of the room. So every room is going to have Ethernet. We're building in higher quality smoke detectors, so I'm not having to change batteries every couple of months, right? We've got the doorknobs themselves. I've been experimenting for the last year with different types of electronic doorknobs, find ones that last longer and are at a price point I can afford. Because I hate having to go in there with batteries and swap batteries. That's the worst 2:00 phone call. I can't get in my room. Please come let me in.
Hey, I gotta just ask, man, which one did you find? Because we have one and we love it, and it took us like 4 years to find the one we love.
So we use Milock, M-I-L-O-C-K. They had a good point. That said, those are the ones I'm experimenting away from. I haven't really hit on a good solid one. What have you found?
We use these ones that are, I'll have to send you, I think it's Slodge.
The Slodge for your bedroom doors?
But it's an interior, doorknob.
Interior Slodge?
Let me see. But they have a little keypad on the end. So no, you know what? It's not Slodge. Let me see. If you just Google interior keyless entry,
it looks like a regular door handle with a keypad.
Yeah, exactly. You buy them from like Wayfair. Yeah, it's the company.
Yeah.
This is not the brand we use, because I think this brand my team has been saying goes out a lot, but we love Signstek, SIGNSTEK, and it's like a gold here. Yeah, it's been a pretty nice one, man, and it's just it's really slick. Let me see if I can share this real fast.
Yeah, I've seen the same form design you're talking about here.
You see this one?
Yep, I've seen those quite a bit. How are those lasting for? Are they lasting for a good long time?
Yeah, honestly, I'd have to ask my property manager. I think we found a better brand than this, but this is still what they look like, and they're slick, man. When you go in, it's like you're going into a safe.
Right. It looks nice.
It's like super cool, dude. Yeah. Okay, so that's the door lock.
Now you want the digital ones, because I've seen people using the mechanical door locks.
Yeah.
But to change those, you literally have to take them apart and change the mechanical pins. So whenever you get a new tenant,
what's great about these is that they come. Every single lock comes with this little battery pack. I don't know if the ones you're using, this little exterior battery pack, and we just keep one in a spot in the kitchen. So if anybody's battery die, you just freaking plug it in, and it gives it enough juice. It's like a little exterior pack, it gives enough juice to get in. So we don't have to take that call.
Then you tell them to put more AA batteries or whatever in there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's one of the requirements that I have for my new locks that I'm looking for. But also, I'm actually looking at maybe spending the $200, $300 per lock for like a Slodge version or something with an app, so that I can actually monitor and see when the batteries are dying ahead of time. Because the ones we're looking at right now, they're not smart. They're punch codes, but they don't report back to anything.
Right.
But then you need Z-Link, because if you do the Wi-Fi ones, the batteries die like that. So you need a Z-Link or a Bluetooth or something, low power consumption. Anyway, a lot on locks, guys. Locks are important, okay?
Locks are very important.
I have seen other operators that they just have the butter knife locks on their bedrooms. You know what I'm talking about? They're just the regular passage lock. Mm-hmm. You're like, I can lock it, but you can open it up with a butter knife or whatever. Yeah. And they have these on their room rentals.
Yeah.
And half the time, they'll rent a room out to Billy. Billy shows up to move into his room. He opens the door, and there's Jake spread out naked on his bed, because his buddy Sam across the hallway said, "You can sleep there. No one's in that room right now. Why don't you just crash here for a couple of nights?"
Exactly.
And then the guy's like, "Where's my room?" Right? So that's funny. Fantastic. I think, if I remember, you don't furnish your bedrooms, right? You furnish the common areas, but not the bedrooms?
Just the common areas, not the bedrooms. My whole thing is that the room is the new apartment, and I want people to move into their room like they would move into an apartment. I want them to have that feeling of ownership. I don't want this to feel like a hotel. Like I don't want it to feel like a hotel at all. It's like when you come in,
you feel like it gives them some more permanence. They've moved in. They spent all that time and energy getting their buddies to help them move their stuff in there. They're not going to go anywhere.
Now, how
there's a lot to be said.
I see a lot of people doing like, okay, and hey, if you need a furnished room, it's a $200 a month charge still, additional every month. I think that's kind of a cool way to kind of mix the two, but we are not pre-furnishing the rooms, like I want people to have that sense of ownership.
We went the other way with ours. We're FRC has continued to go that, where we have furnished rooms. That said, we have a couple of levels of furnishings.
Okay.
I think it for me, I think it's good. It provides a commonality of experience. It allows me to, I think rooms photograph well with furniture, or better with furniture in the rooms. It drives people home. Plus, we found here in Houston, a lot of people are just moving in. They need a place. They just move to the area. They don't have stuff. They're not looking to go out and buy stuff. They're looking for a place they can call home for a while they save up for something. And typically they end up finding that it's such a better service living with me that they don't want to move on. So they just stay with me for a while. Like, one question people might have is occupancy floating around their head. Oh, you're making so much money, but how long are people staying? Like, what's the tenancy rate?
Yeah.
That first house I talked about, I have people that have been there since it launched in 2021. So 2 years, 2.5 years, almost 3 awesome. For some of them. They've been there, right? So provide that. We keep people in there. Anyway, back on furniture. We provide 3 levels right now of furniture. So there's the basic. It's just the bed, the mattress, the full mattress protector, a nightstand, a lamp, and some place for your clothes, right? We have blinds on the windows. That's our basic. Now, for another $50 a week, on top of that is our premium level of finishes. That's where I add that desk and that office chair for the home for the worker. I add a 32-inch TV mounted on the wall. I add the blackout drapes. That gets added at the premium level. That makes me another $200 a month, like you're saying.
Wow! Every
month on that stuff. And I've got that standardized, so I've got stuff that's been there, and that's a 3-month payback. 3 months. And that pays for everything. And then from there, it's just gravy.
That's great.
And I could reuse that for the next person if I need to, right?
Right.
And then we got the luxury level. So beyond that, now I'm putting in that 45, that 48, or the 50-inch TV instead of the 32 at the luxury level. I'm putting in a thicker mattress. I'm putting in carpets on the ground. We're putting in more storage at the luxury level. So depending on what people are looking for, and that's another $100 on top of the base rate. We're able to. I've got shared bath bedrooms that are renting for the same or more as a master bedroom today, just based on the level of furniture in there. It just gives me another level to pull.